Hello friends, welcome to channel Reza Blade and to today's tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to do the set of nails on my left hand as featured in the review of Nicole Diary plate L26 that I released a couple of days ago. The link, if you haven't seen the review yet, where I go into detail on some ideas for other tiles or images on the plate, that'll be linked within the text of this description box below. And I'm gonna, obviously the look that I'm gonna do can be altered if you prefer different colors. I like this because it's a nice kind of simple visually manicure that is sophisticated and you know, it's adaptable. Like you could do it with red and black or, you know, whatever. I'm not going to go through all the options, but there are lots of options. So I'm going to show you what I did in order to achieve this look. And like any recipe, I guess, I'll give you the ingredients I used and tell you about my process and show it to you so that you can do it yourself if you need help. I have some, probably I'm going to include some time stamps because my tutorials, since I explain kind of everything that I'm doing and why, tend to be a little bit long. So there will be timestamps below if you need to watch the, for example, the gradient that I do. It's just a 2-color gradient, so it's a really easy one. And the stamping that I do, the reverse stamping that I do, etc. So I want to start by telling you what I've done here, because obviously I'm not dealing with a set of empty nails. I did 2 coats of every color plus a quick dry top coat. I use Seche Vite. You use your preferred one. The colors that I used are sorry, today I guess my mouth just doesn't want to move right. LA Color 619, which I got at Dollar Tree. I don't know if it's a constant color. I don't know if they regularly carry it. Sometimes Dollar Tree has things that really are just more hey, we have a few of these, we're going to sell them. But it is a nude that you can get from pretty much any brand. I like it looks pretty neutral to me as far as tone goes. I also used Black on Black from Sinful Colors. This is a $2 or $3 black that I really like. Sometimes it goes on 1 coat, sometimes it is a 2-coater. So, and I used Maniology's black stamping polish, and I used Born Pretty's white. I used NeVerMind's matte top coat at the very end after I put on a layer of regular old Seche Vite quick dry top coat, because it adds a level of sturdiness, longevity to your manicure. It's also, it saves your stamping if you, sometimes you will have some really intense smearing if you just go straight to a matte top coat. But those are the things that I used today. Oh, and to make the decals, I used a combination of LA Colors top and base coat and Wet n Wild's clear nail protector. And I'll tell you when it's time to talk about that, what I used. So those are my ingredients. I also have 3 clear stampers. You can use whatever shape you like. I like the square. And I have done some staging so I don't have to talk to you forever. I have the white one ready to go, and I have the one of the black ones ready to go so I can paint on that right away. And then I do have one that I can stamp. Here is the plate that I will be using, Nicole Diary L26. And this is the tile we'll be using. Pretty much any tile, though, that has a single image, like a simple geometric look that has a single image that you can color in the center, will achieve this look, though. So there are lots of options as far as this design goes. Once again, if you haven't seen the review, like I said, I do recommend you see it. I release 1 video a week approximately, sometimes 2. And I do encourage you, if you're new here, to subscribe so that you get, and then click the bell so you get notifications about what I talk about and all the various plates I review and the tutorials I do. And if you enjoy this video, learn from it, find it helpful, etc., please press the like button, and I'd love to hear your comments below. Let's get started. So the first thing that I do in order to, like, if you're just doing your nails, it helps if you do certain things first that take longer so that while you wait for things to dry, you can still be working. So first, obviously, I do 2 coats of each color plus quick dry top coat. I picked up this image in black and then this image in white so that I could wait for the top coat, clear coat on these decals to dry. The reason that I'm doing the stamping on these nails as decals because I have noticed my personal experience with this particular image at first is that it tended to slip and enlarge the images. They distorted at the sides. So my way of getting around that is just slap on a layer of top coat. Unfortunately, this image has some really fine lines and it tends to smear. So let me tell you how I avoided that. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up on the stamp, show it to you in the, here we go. And then I'm going to grab my Maniology black polish. I'm going to open it up. I don't have to tell you everything I'm doing, do I? Because you can see it has eyes. And scrape no more than twice and pick it up. You want to, oh, so I didn't get a great pickup here. I was a little bit too light on the pressure. So start over again. You don't have a little grabber thing. I have a cotton ball on a cute clothespin. So anyway, that should do it. Actually, that more than does it because I dropped some. This is what you get when you watch my tutorials. You get what really happens when I do things. All right, so let's try this again. We don't need to use a lot of polish because we have, okay, that didn't work as well. So I really don't have this problem normally. All right. I'm getting frustrated now. Why don't, while I wait for this to soak out, why don't I show you with a manicure on my right hand. Maybe that worked, maybe it didn't. But on my right hand, I have a polish pickup, November polish. It's over, but I'm still wearing it because it's awesome. It's called the Twins. It's by NeVerMind Polish, and it's stamped over with this same geometric image in gold. Just some simple stamping. I wanted to show you how that looks. There. I really like it. All right, so let's see if this will work again. If not, it's really gonna make me mad. I'm gonna use a different stamper. Good enough for government work. All right. So now I'm gonna put this plate aside. I don't need it anymore right now. Pack up everything. And here is what I do. This is super fragile and it wants to smear. So the first thing I do before I even try to touch it with the clear nail protector is I make sure there's a lot of this on here. I'll show you what I'm using in a second. And I just dab. What I'm creating are anchor points so that when I brush the clear nail protector across, Yes, I'm going to float the clear nail protector, make sure there's plenty of product. And I'm making sure there's plenty of product on this too. You don't want to touch these with the bare brush. That's what makes it smear. All right, so that should be sufficient. I wait for this to dry, and then it's safe to float the clear nail protector by Wet n Wild over in order to make that stable. Then it's not going to bend or distort like this particular image likes to when I put it on the nails. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. After that, I float the clear nail protector over it. And the next thing I do is my ombre nails, or actually technically it's a gradient because it's not in the same color family. So we have nude and black. You can use a makeup wedge if you want. I like using the open cell sponge because these open cells mean that greater proportion of the stamping polish or regular polish, whatever you're using to make your gradient, a greater proportion of the polish goes onto the image, or the stamp, I mean. The fingernail. That is what I mean. All right, so 2 colors. We've got nude and black, very simple. This is a good beginner gradient to do. You want to make sure there's plenty of polish on there. Divide that right down the center. And we want the black at the tip. So here is the index finger. And as I press down, I kind of gently, very subtly move up and back and forth, forward and backward. And what that means is that makes that line fuzzy or blurry or blended, whatever wording you want to use there. And then I do the next nail because I don't want to do too much work on this nail. If you do it while it's still too wet, it'll just pull the color right back off. So just a few passes over that, and then you do your next nail, which is the pinky nail. And doing that next nail will give that first nail time to dry so that you can do your second pass, and that's usually sufficient for this particular gradient look. 2 passes should be all right. All right, so let me try this again. I like the way that looks a little bit better than I did on that other nail. I go back to the index finger. I don't need as much color this time since I'm really just trying to shape up that look. And there we go. So that's as quick as that is. I would use some liquid latex around your finger or nail, and if you're doing it on your actual nails, which most people will be doing. And or there are these little tab things that they sell that kind of make a barrier with like vinyl or whatever. I don't know what they're made out of, but they're very popular. All right, once that is done, that just needs a coat of quick dry top coat in order to look all finished. I don't like to put my brush right back in my jar all the time, my bottle all the time, because sometimes that means it stains my quick dry top coat. Sorry about those fuzzies. All right, so that is the ombre, or gradient look rather. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how I do this reverse stamp. So I find the middle image and I take a white polish. I can either use my white stamping polish or I can use just a regular old white polish. This is the Insta-Dry, Sally Hansen Insta-Dry white polish. All right, and what I do when I color this in is I put my finger, my pinky finger, on the side to kind of straighten it, because it's a very exact image and these lines are very important to be within since you're not coloring any other tiles in. and I move it as I go. So I have an intermittent tremor, which makes this always a very interesting process. The more anxious I get about messing up, the more my hand moves. But you see how it's so much easier to be precise when you move it around. And then it looks like that, except it's filled in a little bit. Like there's a part on this side that I could do a little bit better. Once that dries, one coat of your Wet n Wild clear coat will make the decal or reverse stamping final. Once you're ready for that to go on the nail, all you need is either a sticky base coat, which many people recommend. I like the Vibrant Vinyls one. Or what I use is Poor Man's Sticky Base Coat, which is $1 at Dollar Tree. LA Colors Base Coat and Top Coat. It is a terrible top coat, but it stays nice and sticky for some time on the actual nail. Maybe a whole minute or so. Like it's really, you've got a little time to take care of all that. So I'm doing the white on the nude just so I can show you what I do. But if I want everything just so, then I'll put this in the center, and sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. My hand shook as I put that down. That's just what happens sometimes. Life happens. All right. So you're going to want to take either tiny little scissors or there's actually a decal tool. I think Lantern and Wren carries it. And around your nail, you're going to cut off that excess. And then I always use an acetone or a cleanup brush. I use a $1 e.l.f. brush, which will come into the screen in just a moment. I'm trying to hurry through this because the review is already pretty long. All right. So then I take my cleanup brush, I dip it in my off-screen acetone, and I gently press around to help that adhere to the nail. If you're doing it with black involved, with either the decal or the base coat color, you'll probably have to wipe on your paper towel pretty often before you stick back into the acetone, just so that you're not spreading black around the edge of your nail. But that's how I do her. Once that's all set, you just put your Seche Vite top coat on. Once your Seche Vite top coat is on, or your preferred quick dry top coat, or regular old top coat if you don't mind if it dries slow and you're not doing anything all day, then you take my very favorite matte top coat, or your very favorite matte top coat, and you apply. I just applied a whole Titanic's worth. And that will go matte in due course. And it's a finished mani. So you saw how I do my each little thing. I didn't do the whole manicure because that would take 6 years. If you have any questions, please ask them below. I always respond. And tell me what you think. People say they're happier with me doing more tutorials. Let me know what you think about it. I feel like I'm just one of those people who maybe talks too much to do tutorials, but maybe you like to hear what I have to say, I hope. If you enjoyed this, please press like. I would love it if you tune in next time. I have a fun review, really fun review coming up for you next. So do tune in, subscribe, and make the notification bell happen. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.